Hey everybody, it's great to see you. Today I'm going to talk about my comfort decks. It's the VR that's going around, which of course I'll link below. And now for me, comfort really has to do with the basics. Kind of like comfort foods. Most of the time for people, the comfort foods are the basics, bread and butter or pasta or something like that. And that really is how it works for me with the decks. So my comfort deck that has been really something I've been using pretty much throughout this year, especially the last 7 or 8 weeks, has been the new Paladini, and it is a U.S. Games deck. And so David Paladini, of course, is the designer of this deck, and here is the backing. I really like the color and the design of the backs. There's just something about this deck for me. I like the colors, and I really like the people in the deck. Their faces are kind and thoughtful and very approachable. And I think he worked really hard on the faces. Here's the Lover's card. And that's a nice Lover's card. So if you can remember in the Rider-Waite Smith, there's the angel and the man and the woman sort of looks up at the angel and the man looks at the woman. And this is done in a more subtle way where you can see the woman has her eyes closed. So she's still looking inward, sort of, giving the idea of the spiritual connection. And his eyes are open. So the male and the female energies are really there. And there's just a kindness and a love in these faces. Even the King of Rods, he's strong and he's the king of fire, but he still has, in my opinion, just a comforting, approachable look. And as I had mentioned about this deck before, I do like the nighttime skies that show up in several of the cards. It just makes it a little quieter, a little more thoughtful, I think, for me. And there again, you can see the nice colors. So I've been using this so much lately. I'm going to show you the Temperance card, just a couple more. And here is the Empress. And the Six of Cups, you'll see here, the plants, of course, I like that, the foliage. That also, I find something that I enjoy seeing in decks, touches of nature. It's just nice. And there's the High Priestess. So, when I first saw this VR going around, this was the first deck that came to my mind. And so that's kind of like my number one. But I do want to talk about David Paladini's other deck, which of course is the Aquarian Tarot. So, I would not say this is as comforting for me in the same way, because as I said, the new Paladini, it's the faces and the kindness and the approachability of the people in that deck that really helps me when I'm feeling like I need that type of connection. But his other deck, the Aquarian Tarot, which he had done 25 years earlier, and he was quite a young man in art school, this deck doesn't have the faces, but what it has is something about the design, and the Art Deco design really calls to me and speaks to me on a different level, on a very kind of an intuitive level, and a deep level, because I'm so connected to that style, So I do have a couple copies of this. One is trimmed and one is not trimmed. So this is the Ace of Cups. And you'll see here in the Strength card, you can really see all the design work that went into it. Now, I kind of have the feeling that when, 25 years later, when he did this other deck, I think he intentionally worked harder on the faces, because in some cards, the faces maybe are a little lacking of expression in the Aquarian, but that's okay because there's so much else going on, the Star. So this would be my second, at this time, comfort deck, and the other is definitely my first. Here's the Three of Cups. Okay, so I am going to talk about one more, and this last one, it's not going to be a surprise, I'm sure, to none of these decks are really going to be a surprise. You all know them pretty well. So my last comfort deck is really more about comfort if there's a like a physical healing that I need or someone needs. I mean, the comfort decks are really more about us. I understand that. And that is definitely the Morgan Greer. There's just something very healing on a physical level about this deck. It's really earthy and kind of grounded. And, you know, as you look at the way the artist did the work, the lines, everything is very rounded, kind of like fat in a good way, and it's comforting, very comforting. I just really have some deep connection with the Temperance card in this deck. I find it, I could just spend a lot of time with it in meditation, and it does provide a healing. There's the Queen of Cups. And I do like the men in this deck, as I'm sure I've mentioned before. They're strong and vibrant and just so healthy looking. That's the Eight of Pentacles. So it's a wonderful, wonderful deck, and many people love it. So that would be my third comfort deck. So, you know, like I said, I kind of use them sort of in different ways. Now we're going to move on to the Oracle decks, and I will show you 3 of those as well. My number 1 comfort Oracle deck, and one of my just favorite Oracle decks of all times, is the Return of Spirit Oracle deck by Cheryl Lee Harnish. I've talked about this before too. I don't see it around a lot, but I know some of you do have it. It's a fractal deck, and to me it does really have also a very healing energy about it. And you'll see the fractal images and the one word, and there is a book, which now that I've had the deck for a while, I really don't refer to the book. I don't kind of think that you need to, but I like there's sort of an unusual take on the wording here. We have confidence. Okay, and this is love, so that's fairly common in decks, but some of them are a little less common. Here's rejuvenation. This next one is immunity, which I've seen come up when there is maybe just a health issue just starting for someone. This one, mediumship. And boy, have I gotten this a lot just before some kind of intuition comes to me. You know, I'll pull this card, and you know, within a half hour, something really important that I have to listen to kind of comes in. So the deck has been so wonderfully accurate for me. Here's Return of Spirit. I hope you can see these. Of course, there is a glare. Celestial. So even though the wording is a little different, it really does suit so many of unusual type of situations that come up, you know, shifting. There are several cards in here about shifting the energy, your energy, or raising your frequency and things like that. So, favorite, love it, very comforting for me. Okay, the next one I'm going to mention is the Mother Mary Oracle. And again, a lot of you know this deck. Now, I have to be honest, I probably only reach for this maybe 2 or 3 times in a year. It's but when I feel the calling, it really is there for me. It gives me a wonderful reading. And I'm going to tell you why this is comforting to me. A few reasons. First, the backing is very comforting to me. I really like the color. You know, those deeper reds or color really speak to me in a way. You'll see I wear red a lot, right? And the roses, they're on the back, and they're in a lot of the cards. That symbol holds a lot of comfort and meaning for me as well. So, and there's another symbol in here that shows up I want to talk about. And you'll see right there, you'll see the Sacred Heart symbol. And you'll see that in several of these cards. And that is something I've been working with a lot, lately, I guess. And it has a deep meaning to me as well, along with the roses. And there's the heart again, and the roses all in the same card. So, even though I don't feel such a super duper connection with Mary, like I said, the symbolism in here, and And there is that sort of gentle healing quality about the deck that makes it important for me at times. Now, just one more I want to talk about an oracle deck. Again, I don't use it as much as I used to. It is an older one, but it is a comfort deck for me, and it is called, I have the book here, it's called Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle, and it's been around for quite a while. And here's the backing. Very glossy. It's Lucy Cavendish. And I really like that there is a vulnerability to some of these cards, especially this one here, and it says, "Carry me home." And the woman is allowing herself to rely on the strength of her man there. So it's, really reaching out and, allowing ourselves for help. And that's not always so easy. And I like that message is in this deck. Here's another. This is an interesting card. It's called Dragon's Pet. And it talks about communication with animals, or maybe even just our higher intuition coming in. But it's unusual. I like it. And I like this one too. It's called Little Boy Blue. And now I've seen this one come up for me in times when I'm, when I'm just starting to have a new idea come in. And it's still kind of delicate. You don't even want to talk about it yet. And this card will show up, and it sort of validates or fortifies just that new birth of an idea and or a project or something like that. This is also a nice card. It's called Scared to Fly, and it's talking about being in touch with your timing, and just that right moment when you feel comfortable to take flight. This one is called Dark Moon. Talks about maturing into yourself or into that situation that's coming up for you. This one is another nice one. It talks about discernment. What's it called? Keeper of Secrets. So there is really a lot to these cards. I've had really intuitive information come in with these cards, and I just love this one because it's called Beauty's Truth, and truth and beauty are just two things that are so important to me. So those are my comfort decks. What are yours? Great to talk with you. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.